Axie fam is in the house. What's up? Let's get in this crazy deck. I'm sure you saw the title and the thumbnail. Yeah, these replays are crazy. This team is busted, man. This team is crazy. This deck is so tasty. So on the left side, we have a triple winghorn. Double perch. Yeah, so this team is like 11 bucks. It's actually less than that. I was shopping for some for like to give away and stuff, and like you can find some of these guys for like $2. It's so disgusting. So let's talk about what makes this deck so good. Number one, Robin. Robin is the secret sleeper. We're drawing a pretty bad start for us. Luckily, we did draw a 2-cost card with that shuffle. So we get some hits. So what had just happened there is every time we hit something that's less than 60% health, you get 2 feather daggers. Why is that so important? That's from Winghorn, right? So Winghorn gives us a bunch of feather daggers to proc our Robin with. Yeah, yo. So Winghorn itself procs, right? This is an old version of the deck. I don't have the taunt on the chomps anymore. What I have done is I've taken off all the cards that have retain, the scotch tapes, and I've replaced them, right, with, like, now on my lamb, you see we got 2 feather, just a little bit of damage. We really should save those for when we have the Robin out, because it's so good, right? So this guy has sticky jellyfish on his shoal star that already has retain. RTFC. So our opponent's going on the bubble bomb strategy. Our opponent is actually discovering that Perch is actually really good, and he's really trying to maximize his Perch damage. So here we go. We have the Robins on board. The game is over. We're trying to focus his backliner because the Perch can hit so hard, and that's because the way Perch is worded now. Let's read Perch. Let's go over. It says, consume all energy. Attack all enemies. First, multiply the base damage with the consumed energy. Then gain 20% bonus damage for each consumed energy. Opponent hits us with a big bomb here. Triggered our bird. And it triggered our frontliner's last stand. Gives our guy a little bit of shield. Does some AoE. It's so good. I'm not too sure what it removed just now, but I think I removed something it wasn't supposed to. So our bird did die an early death, but we're trying to take out this guy because if you perch with the charm, the math of it is, and let me pause this for a second, 20 damage because it has the +6 damage, -6, or +5 damage, -6 HP charm, right? Which is like, I think it's epic level charm, right? And you can kind of tell by the bow on the top, right? So this bow right here only has 2 loops, and it's like not colored, and this one has 2 loops and it's colored, right? So this one's more rare, and the ones without the bow are common, right? And that's the rarity, and that's how you kind of determine that. So we have 20 as the base damage. So let's look at that. Let's open the calculator. So we have 20 as the base damage. And it says consume all energy. So right now he's playing 6 Nemos, right? So each of the Nemos is going to give him tons of energy. So he's just going to mad climb the energy. And he's going to be able to use, like, say, 5 energy. So we take that base damage of 20 and multiply it by 5 energy consumed. And then, so it's 100 base damage for 5 energy, which doesn't seem good, but it gets a bonus 20% for each energy consumed. And I think it's multiplicative. So it's times 1.2, that's for 1. Times 1.2, that's 2. Times 1.2, that's 3. Times 1.2, that's times 1.2. So you could do 248 damage with a 5 energy perch with the aqua charm, right? So yeah, that's kind of a big deal, and nobody's talking about it. He's playing the aqua version. We're playing the Shady Exchange Moonlight Thief version. So hit him with the bubble bomb. Gil. Get a little bit of bubble here. Not that big of a deal. Opponent does have a way to put fragile on our guy, which feels bad. Nemo's the back, gives him a bubble bomb. Then he go and perch for 120. Solid perch, right? He ends up retaining both the sponge and the giant bubble here. And so now it's our time to shine. So we play the Robin to block an attack. Then we hit him with the Winghorn. And so we get to draw all these feather daggers, right? We're going to hit the frontliner with the Revenge Sword. And we're going to hit him with a bunch of 5 5 damage, 0 cost cards. Not a big deal, but look at the stacks going up on the Robin. Now, there is a visual bug where we get stuck, one of these stuck in our hand. And I think it has to deal with like you playing them too fast. And like the maximum number of cards on the stack being like 4. And so if you do like 5, 6, and 7 on a stack, the like 5, 6, and up all get stuck in your hand like a visual bug. But look, with 36, our opponent doesn't know what to do. He is just dumbfounded, gives up. He knows he can't win that with that hand. But we get a feather dagger proc here. Now we have all these feather daggers. We have 56. Yeah, so we're gonna hit him with all these. Doesn't actually matter. We can just kill him here because we have Perch in our hand. But it just feels good to see the gigantic numbers on our Robin. The deck's nuts, right? So we end up using the Revenge Sword, and we won. Our opponent kind of gave up there. He just like could not fathom. I've never seen this deck before. It doesn't look good, and I'm getting absolutely crushed. Let's go into game number 2. Now we actually did play this in ranks a bunch too, but to be honest, it feels kind of dirty. Our opponent rocking the Gaia's Embrace to give the bunch of HP. His Poison Touch on the mid. He has a Green Thorns and Curved Spine. He has a Yam. So he's kind of playing 3 decks at once, which makes his like stuff like not really coordinated very well. We go and start off with the Robin. We go and play the Gill because the Gill gives you 3 procs because it's 3 hits. Right? It doesn't matter if it hits a shield or not. So it gives us 4 times 3 stacked on our bird. Opponent trying to kill our bird with the Kitaro does miss. He does have the Venom Charm on the Kitaro, so Kitaro gives a couple of poison stacks. So he's like I said. So here comes a big Winghorn proc. We get 3 procs on our bird. We go ahead and use our Grass Snake on the mid to maximize the damage. Get another trigger on the bird, and now the bird is already going to do 28 times 3, right? Our opponent here uses the Green Thorns, which means our bird, unfortunately, is going to go down. Not that big of a deal because I think we're going to get a lot of value out of it, right? So our bird, pop! And we get to reveal this 42 shields here. So yeah, Lamb has been a freaking king, man. Lamb is so good because when we use like an AoE, whatever it hits first ends up like kind of... It like gets the back damage, right, when we use like something, but we can use the Grass Snake to target the most valuable target, right? So we hit them, and then from then on our Lamb can target that. So a lot of players don't realize that Lamb targets the lowest HP enemy, right? And so we've been like getting a lot of good counterplay. We just use all our energy on a gigantic. See, that was a 4 energy Perch. That wasn't even 5, that was 4, right? So you can get up there. You can get up there. Maybe the math isn't multiplicative and it's additive, which means it would be 20 for each energy. So it'd be 5 times 20%, so 100%. So the damage might be a little bit different. So we get a Lamb. So we Lamb his backliner, and it's important because like getting somebody in low HP means we get to get all these. And here I kind of make a mistake just because I want to play these, and I go ahead and press the hotkeys. It's fun to be like 3, 4, 5, 6, and it just like spam a bunch of these cards. And see, that's where we get the visual bug when one gets stuck in our hand. So we don't even penetrate his shield. So it's like kind of silly. I'm actually emoting him on him here, and I'm like, sad day. Like that was kind of silly. I should have saved them for when I had the Robin, right? That's how you win the game. Opponent using a Kitaro, getting some poison stacks on our guys. Right there, poison didn't trigger. So there's a problem with Kitaro and the Venom Flask charm. It is our turn. We got energy burst from the energy stealing thing, right? So we have 5 energy right now. We use, like, oh, come on, show us our energy. We Grass Snake back here. We're trying to get rid of our cards without doing too much damage, which is like kind of weird, right? And now we got rid of as many cards as we could so we can get the maximum number of procs on the Winghorn. And then we get to play all these feather daggers and get this damage up. Look at this damage. This deck is so sick. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. So opponent has a giant tiny dino coming. 120 damage. Gets the heal 5% of his HP because it was retained. Plays the Indian Star to shield the back. Plays the Pumpkin to shield the front. Our opponent's really realizing like what's going on. Confused is probably one of the strongest cards right now. Because the Confused goes on top. If you have a Confused like round 1, it feels really bad to like open up with a confused. We'll go and play our second Robin. Play the grass snake hitting the back. Oh no, he shielded the back. Not that big of a deal. Go ahead and Kingfisher our frontliner. We go ahead and Winghorn, and we're gonna be able to draw only 2 feathers because it hit the backliner. The frontliner is too healthy to get the triggers off of it, but we're getting those healthy. Now we're every hit right there was doubled efficacy, right? So we're getting 2 triggers. Oh, and he gets a lucky Gonzaro, and I spend my entire turn like giving him the sad face emote, you know, like, no, how dare you kill my birds? But I mean, they blew up and like did their thing, right? So this one's stuck in our hand, so you can ignore that. We could lamb. We lamb here. Hits the backliner. Not that big of a deal. We go and gill to hit both. Trying to use cards that do like, it's like weird. You're trying to use cards that do the least amount of damage sometimes to maximize the Robin. But once we have, if we have Perch in our hand and we have 5 energy, we cast Perch for 5x every time. Just the energy conversion is like, it's so good. Our opponent's only on 1 energy burst right now. We're already going to be on our 3rd. So if we draw a Perch for 6, it's absolutely disgusting. We don't draw the Perch, so we go ahead and defend with the Robin, protect against like the frontliner there. So we go ahead and hit him with the grass snake, go ahead and play a second grass snake, and then we go ahead and play the Winghorn. Do. And then now we get all these feather pucks. Yeah! Get him! Cheer him up. So like we're just like it's so silly. Like this guy ends up with 5 HP and he's in a predicament, right? He has to shield for more than 44 on both of his Axies before he attacks or he loses the game. Like what? So opponent using the Frizzard. Frizzard didn't trigger and give our guys the debuff. He attacks in and triggers the bird's explosion. Reveals he only has 26 shields, you know, 140 plus 26 versus our double Winghorn draw, which is pretty sweet. So we're going to try to use all our other cards, right? And then use Winghorns. So we get the draw effect because it's so wicked. Let's go to game 3. Oh, this third game's super interesting. Our opponent has some legit action going on. So our opponent has the Zap Armor Bumpy Mech Triple Nut in the backliner. Scary. Got the goosebumps. His backliner is hitting for like 135 like most of the time. It is so insane. Like, it would be so good against like a sustained team. His midliner is kind of like a vanilla, like Pumpkin Boy, and his frontliner is like a Terminator. So it's a very, very cheap team that he's playing. But the mech with Bumpy is so good because I think Bumpy goes on the stack. So right now we're using Lamb to hit the backliner. We're trying to take him out because we know the amount of damage that this mech is capable of, right? Our opponent plays the Bubble Maker on the frontliner, which triggers our guy's shields, right? So now he can hit with the Nutcracker. He's already hitting for 83 because Zap Armor they get plus 10% to damage if they have shields, and they get minus 20 to damage they take. So plus 20% resistance, right? It's pretty strong. Go ahead and play the Winghorn, and we go ahead and play the Gill, and then we go ahead and play the Perch for 1, right? Because that's a better value. Because if we Perch for 5x with Robin on board, we don't. It's not over and over and over again. It's one hit, right? So we only get plus 4 to the Robin. It's kind of weird. So we want to make sure that we are, you know, maximizing the number of cards we're playing, right? So on our turn, we do draw a Void, which always feels bad. Go ahead and hit him with a Tiny Turtle, get his frontliner to sleep, and like that was a mistake, right? Then we play the Kingfisher, and it gets blocked, and then we wake the guy up. So it's just like a waste of an energy. And then our bird blows up for a decent amount of damage there. Kind of like it was a bad play. Like we shouldn't have played this Chomp first. I think instead of Chomp, our mouths should be the Kataro mouth or Double Talk. One of those two, definitely. We go and just decide to play a big Perch here. because Lamb, even though it says 101 damage, that's a lie. Because its damage is based off whoever it hits, which is always the Axie with the lowest HP. I am thinking about doing a theory crafting video talking about dual blades and Lamb and how they go very, very well together. Dual blades, whoever you want, then Lamb them next, right? We play the Robin in the back. Go and play the Perch. See, here's an example of where we're learning. We only get 4. So we get 4 for each Axie that was hit. So we got 12 there for like all of our energy. We did do a lot of damage, but in terms of the Robin procs, we didn't get much. So look at these. That's 121 damage Ronin, and he didn't play any. Like, such good damage. Unsure why our opponent isn't going for the kill here. Should definitely be trying to kill our Axies. So we have 5 energy here, so we're trying to figure out what we can do. We play a card before the Chomp, then we play the Winghorn, so we get a bunch of stuff in our deck. But we should have played our daggers first, because we have a maximum cards in hand already. So that was a misplay. So now we're learning how to play the deck. So we'd have a few more feather daggers, and our guy dies there. I have no idea why. No clue. Why would that guy die and not the other guy die? I still don't know. That must have been some sort of bug. But opponent almost wins the game. Boop. Almost wins the game because of it. He's on 12 HP now. So we're afraid of like hitting a reflect, so we just go ahead and use Revenge Sword and end the game. Because Revenge Sword doesn't trigger those reflect damage cards. But yeah, we're playing it in ranked. Like, it's a very strong team for 12 bucks. Now, the big question is, does this really translate at the beginning of Season 2 when we don't have access to Shady Exchange and Moonlight Thief, right? Because those are like core for the deck. I think this deck would be fine if the tells were Carrot Hammers or Nemos. It was the same setup, but instead of Grass Snake, we had Carrot Hammers. I think this deck would be very solid. Okay, let's go on to game 4 before I get sidetracked. Game 4 is so crazy. This is such a good game. Actually, I'm just gonna put it on 1 speed. So our opponent also playing Perch with Hardy Warrior. So if this guy perches early when we're full HP, it's gonna hit us for a ton. We drew a bunch of Winghorns in our opening hand. Play the Winghorn. We get some hits on the Hardy Warrior. Not like it matters now because its damage is based off our health, not its health. Our opponent doing the opposite, right? He's playing Perch with the Sticky Octopus, so he can play it when it's most ideal for him to play it. Important to note, Hermit. He has Hermit, and all of his attacks have Rocket Stamp. but so our opponent is playing Snake Jar. So he has Shady Exchange, Gaia's Embrace. He has Snake Jar, Hardy Warrior. So on this guy, he has the Tri-Feathers. He has the Gill, Poppy, Serious Cactus. And we have Hermit, Sakura, Beach, Cute Bunny, and Potato Leaf. So we have to be aware about Potato Leaf, right? So we got some triggers on our bird. We do have, I do really like the Scotch tape on the clear. It has been so good, right? So we're already close to losing our backliner. And at this point, I'm thinking like, is it okay for me to lose my backliner, or should I do everything to protect it? And I decide it's not that big of a deal, but then I realize, oh, that's Shady Exchange guy. Oh no. Hit him with a lamb, target the back, right? And this is so we can maximize the number of hits, right? We should have maybe even used Grass Snake and then Perch for 1. And that would have given us the maximum number. Our opponent has a ton of cards. Here's where it starts getting crazy. He just used Snake Jar. So we have a Snake Jar countdown. It's a race to the finish, right? He definitely should have used Sleepless to kill our backliner there. But so we're using Winghorn, drawing a bunch of cards, maximum cards in hand though. Puts our guy to sleep. No, and then we clear. Oh no, and then we draw the 2-cost card on our backliner. And then we realize we could just play a Feather Dagger to clear the sleep. I'm so dumb. I just didn't realize that at all. Opponent with 1,000,000 cards. I don't understand why our opponent has so many cards in his hand all the time. So look at, so I've never thought about this, but you could have more than one Snake Jar. So that right there is very important. So we realized that he probably played Perch, or played Hermit. And so we played the dagger first, right? And then we play another dagger to clear the sleep. And then we play the other daggers here. So that way when we play our Winghorn, we can draw the maximum number of cards, right? We play the guild, trying to get cards out of hand. Play the snake jar in the mid, right? We're trying to get the guy that playing the snake jar because he has played 2 on the backliner, so we need to kill this guy first, right? We have to kill the healer, right? The problem is that guy also is healing. So we get a bunch. We should save a couple of these for when we draw the Robin. But I decide, let's go ahead and attack this guy down. Whatever, let's just use all the cards, right? Well, we almost never use Little Owl. So Little Owl is probably the worst card in the deck. Who is it? This guy right here, his horns. So we got a big Perch coming down from our opponent using all his energy on us. So our opponent knows what's up with the Perch. So we have one more turn to kill this guy or else it's GG. So we go ahead and Grass Snake the back. Go ahead and, these are fake right here. We don't actually have these in our hand. Go and use the other Grass Snake. Then we use the Winghorn. He's left with 41 HP. He's emoting. He's like GG, like he won, right? But he doesn't know that we have all these feather daggers in hand. So it's like, that's it. You can get the gist. Go pick up the team if you want to have some fun. It's an absolute blast to play. Hit the like and subscribe button. Share this with your friends, and leave a comment down below of a team that you've seen recently that has you excited and giddy for Origins and Season 2. Good luck in your matches, and have fun theory crafting. We'll see you in the next video.